Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here, and today we are going to be wrapping up our viewing of Kizumonogatari with the third movie, Reiketsu, which of course means cold-blooded. Some of you guys told me that each of the three, movie titles is actually referring to Heart Under Blade's titles as well, but I do think that for the most part it corresponds with the content of the particular movie as well. So maybe that was intentional. I wouldn't put it past them. They are pretty genius in putting this together, right? Also, this is the third movie. Some things have changed. For the first and second movie, I was actually using the official English subs. Because it has been released. The two movies have been released in the English market. For this third one, however, apparently there are no official English subs, so I am using a fan sub, and this particular variant is by Edo. So Edo subs, basically. It was a toss-up for me between Edo subs and tactical subs, but I heard that Edo's quality was a bit better. It was more complete, and more highly regarded, right? Now, with that being said, I do also hear that this sub is a little bit more localized, so we might lose some of the wordplay and so on and so forth, right? But apparently it does capture the speech patterns, the nuances of the speech patterns a little bit better. So I guess, there's pros and cons. If I do miss anything, miss any wordplay or whatnot, do let me know. Of course, I'll only be using these subs for this movie. And beyond that, well, let's get into the movie, right? Apparently, I mentioned last episode that, there's bound to be something else happening with Heart Under Blade. We still need to see how she turns back into a little girl, how she gets the name Shinobu, I mean, how it actually went down and whatnot, and so on and so forth, right? And apparently you guys are saying that this movie is going to be crazy. I know, I think, I need to temper my expectations a little bit, because every time somebody tells me that this is going to be good, I get overhyped, and then, it's not good for the reaction part, right? But anyways, let's get into the episode right now and see just what's going to happen. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I still want to see if I can, figure out the red and black scenes and whatnot. Okay, I think this is actually going... Actually, I kind of forgot. At the start of first movie... What was the timeline then? I know it was in April, but I forgot if it was April 6th. Hmm? Congratulations! Is he bothered about his condition? True. That's true. Why was she defeated so easily? I don't exactly like the minion transformation. I think that's okay. Never mind. Yeah. So she was obviously, I don't know, set up or something. Right?
まあ聞かれても聞かれなくても渡すつもりでいたけど、聞かれて渡す方が話の流れが良くて助かるよ。荒木君、君もたまには鋭いところを見せるじゃないか。
What now? Okay, a literal heart. I see.
キスショットアセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレードの心臓だ。その心臓なしで彼女は吸血鬼退治の専門家と戦ったというわけだ。
So she's heartless? Cold-blooded?
だろうね。彼女は手足を奪われただけだと思っている。そうか。そうだったのか。
How do you lose your heart and not realize it? Yeah, I don't think he stole it, dude. Did you steal it? I knew it. Dang, that means this dude is super strong. Like, I knew he was strong, but this is like on a whole nother level.
そりゃそうだ。だから君はこの後僕から心臓を取り戻さなきゃいけないはずだった。4戦目としての僕と荒木君の戦い。それでこそバランスが取れるはずだった。お前と戦うってのか。はずだった。だよ。
Now why did you change your mind?
ほら、すでに返してあげたろ。委員長ちゃんの件、本当に悪かったね。
Well,
一般人がここまで物事に絡んでくるケースっていうのは本当に珍しいんだよ。普通は人は怪異から逃げるものだから。あの子は少し常軌を逸しているよね。これでキスショットアセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレード。
but there should be a reason why you stole it, right? So, why? Was she getting too powerful or something? So to keep the balance?
ああ、そうそう。これはただの興味から聞くんだけど、最近お腹空かない？いや、前にも言ったと思うけれど、吸血鬼になって以来、不視力ってことなのか。食欲はあんまりないんだよな。まあ、でもさすがにそろそろお腹も空いてくるものだろうと思うよ。
And he needs to drink blood to satiate his appetite or something?
それじゃあ荒木君、無事人間に戻ったらもう軽率な行動を取らない。
But I mean, if he's turning back into a human, that wouldn't matter, right?
おい、なんだよ。もうここから出ていくみたいな言い方すんなよ。出ていくさ。仕事は済んだしね。失敗という形でだけど。まあ、それでも済んだは。
Ended in failure.
ああ、そうだ荒木君。君の分の200万円と委員長ちゃんの300万円だけど、あれはチャラってことでいいから。そんな目をしなくとも裏はないよ。これでも僕は気前がいいんだ。バランスが取れてりゃうるさく言うつもりはない。
As long as there's balance. But what balance is he talking about? In the end, then, if he's going to revert back and Heart on the Blade has all her stuff back, wouldn't it just revert to the very beginning? Now, there's obviously some catch here. Eh. I think I like stage 2 a little bit better.
キスショット。ちなみに吉野は昼間のうちにどっか行っちゃったみたいなんだけど。
それがどうかしたかの。
いや、心臓の件怒らなくていいのかって。
構わん構わん。許して使わす。っていうかどうでもいい。
キスショット。盛り上がっているところ悪いけれど、もしよければ僕をさっさと人間に戻してほしいんだけどな。
ああ、そうじゃったの。安心せえ。ちゃんと戻してやるわい。しかし重木よ。その前に少し話をせんか。
What's with the lights and the helicopters and whatnot? I guess just for theatrics. And with the Monogatari series, you really don't know if something is actually happening or it's just to provide emphasis and what. But we've been having like helicopter sounds throughout all 3 movies already.
話したいことがあるんじゃなかったのか。
その言い方は正確ではなかったな。話したいことがあるのではなく、何でもよいから話したかっただけじゃ。
それが僕を人間に戻すにあたって必要なことなのか。
必要じゃな。わしにとっては。
I think she just wants to talk.
16年も生きてたんだ。話の種は尽きないだろうが。
特に何もなかったわい。あの3人のような連中とずっと殺し合いばかりしてきたからの。基本的には退屈な500年じゃったよ。
What shall we talk about?
話すべきことといえば、やはりあの男のことしかないか。
That man.
ウヌがわしの作った2人目の眷属であることは。
Okay, so this is the speech particulars I was told about.
そういえば言ってたっけ。
Using more archaic
2年ぶり2人目とか。
words.
僕みたいなやつなのか。
なぜそう思う。
それは。
ウヌと被る部分は人種くらいじゃ。
Of humans. Wait, what?
そやつは
Okay. An animation within an animation.
預けるに足る凄腕の戦士じゃった。
でも人種は同じって言ったよな。
うん、日本人じゃ。若さにかまけて世界中を遊び歩いておった頃、この国で出会った男じゃよ。日本語もその時に習った。随分と言葉は変わってしまったようじゃがの。
でもだったら今回のこともそいつを呼んだらよかったのに。
無理じゃよ。もう死んでおるからの。それもかなり昔の話じゃ。
Was he your lover or something?
覚えておるか。
Or did you kill him?
戦闘にあたって刀を使うことがあるという話をしたことがあったじゃろ。その刀というのはそやつの形見じゃよ。
I mean, there's gotta be a better way of taking... 心渡り Heart...
なかなかの技物らしいぞ。動くなよ。動くな。今ウヌを切った。
は
痛み みはあるか？
いや、
となるとわしの腕も鈍ってはおらんようじゃな。もう動いてよいぞ。すでに治癒しておる。
なんだよそれ。治癒したって、僕の場合は服までは治癒しないだろう。
So where?
銅を横なぎにじゃ。またたまらぬものを切ってしまった。
たまらぬって
服のことも心配するな。心当たりの切れ味の鋭さは折り紙付きじゃ。切り口をしばらく放っておけばひっついてしまうほどにな。無論わしの腕があって。
That's like a super long katana, though. Like, alright, never mind. You do you. You do you. You've lived for 500 years.
血気が死んだってことは、つまり吸血鬼退治をされちまったってことか。
違う。奴は間違っても誰かに殺されるような男ではなかった。
じゃあなんで。
Killed by me!
自殺じゃ。
Oh, never mind.
退屈は人を殺すというのじゃろ。大抵の場合、吸血鬼は200年も生きれば死にたくなってしまう。
Seriously? You're that bored?
その男に変わったところがあるとすれば、吸血鬼になってからわずか数年で自らの死を選んだというところじゃろうの。そんな短期間では大して何も変わらんというのに、わしの目の前で死におった。太陽の下に身を投げて、これ見よがしに見せつけながら。以来わしは眷属を作らんかった。ウヌに会うまでの。
お前は退屈しなかったのか。
ずっと暇じゃったよ。
Okay. Talk about theatrics.
じゃが、ウヌには退屈させられんかったぞ、重木よ。ウヌはやることなすことむちゃくちゃじゃった。吸血鬼に対し、自分から首を突き出してくるような人間は、おそらく歴史上初めてじゃぞ。わしのことをいきなりキスショット呼ばわりじゃしな。
So is that something that, like, only their husbands can do? Do vampires even have the concept of marriage? Alright. Where's the twist now?
さてと、そろそろウヌを人間に戻すとするか。
ああ、そういえば一人目の眷属は人間に戻りたいとは言わなかったのか。
当時のわしにはどちらにしても奴を人間に戻してやることはできんかったのでの。今回はなるだけその教訓を生かしておるつもりじゃ。で、準備はいいか。
いや、それが笑いすぎたからか、ちょっと小腹が空いていてよ。なんか腹に入れてからでもいいか。
まあ確かにわしもいきなり完全体に戻って空腹を感じてはおるのじゃが、携帯食でも持ってくる気か。
携帯食って。ま、吸血鬼としても最後の夜だし、ちっとは名残を惜しみたいってところさ。お前、なんか食べたいものでもあるか。
わしに好き嫌いはないの。まあよい。いいようにせよ。我が重
I thought you were just like, bring me some
少しでも長い間わしの重木
blood or something.
ウヌ 私は2階で準備をしておる。
オッケー。
Seven and I Holdings.
やっぱどっか行っちゃうんだろうな。まあ仕方ないことか。出会いもあれば別れもあるだろう。キスショットにとっては悪い思い出ばかりの2週間だったとしても、今になって思えば僕にとってはそんな悪くない春休みだったのかもしれない。そんな悪くなかったのかもしれない。
Right. This one. Yeah, I like this one.
屋根の上での打ち上げに続いて送別会も開いてしまおう。そしてちゃんと別れの言葉を。
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the, twist or whatnot to happen.
ただいまー。
That guy.
おお、重木。意外と早かったの。しかし、言っておるじゃろ。レディーの食事中は席を外すのがマナーじゃぞ。
Oh, that. Wait, seriously? What the hell is. I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to like act shocked right now, but honestly. Oh. I'm sorry, this is actually much more funny to me than shocking. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, they are vampires after all.
聖職者はまずいと相場が決まっておるのじゃが。しかし、なかなかの美味であったわ。好き嫌いはないつもりじゃったが。しかし空腹は最高のソースとは。
Wow.
いや。人間を食べちゃダメだろ。
しかし、重木よ。
That's the only way they can.
なければ死んでしまうぞ。
ずっと食べてきたのだろう。食べ続けてきたのだろう。
I mean,
一人目の眷属、そして二人目。500年生きて血を吸った相手がその二人だけのはずもない。
no shit.
それ以外の人間は全てああいう風にバラバラにして肉も骨も残さずに食べてきた。
Yeah, he's losing it. I mean, I did question this back in the first movie, right? How he was just able to.
それが眷属を作らない場合の の栄養補給。
Oh, so if she can just keep on sucking blood out of him, does that...
ショットが人間を食べれば、食事をとれば、それはすべて僕の責任だ。羽川が食われても、妹たちが食われても、両親が食われても、それはすべて僕のせいだ。僕が彼女を助けたせいだ。僕のせいで、僕のせいで、僕のせいで。もう嫌だ。嫌なのに、嫌なのに、僕だって吸血鬼だ。ああ、そうそう。最近お腹すかない？
Hmm. Huh. So that's what he was actually thinking at that time? Wait, what? Okay, okay, never mind. Ah. Okay. No, you just have to turn back into a human. What the hell are you going on about? Just, if you turn back to human, you don't need to devour other humans. Now, of course, Heart Underblade situation, that's another story. Right, she sent a message. Oh, she actually put it back while he wasn't watching. Okay.
女の子の届け物です。
Hey, I just realized something. Is this, this mess of discs or something? Was that actually the same scene that we had in Bakemonogatari where they were fighting?
倉庫に閉じ込められちゃったみたい。荒木くんにいやらしいいたずらとかされたらどうしよう。懐中電灯オン。正面座ってパンツ見ようとしてる。
ああ、お前は僕という男を誤解している。僕はたとえ目の前に裸の女の子がいたとしても、その子が見ないでと言ったら見ないことができる男だ。
それは普通。
いや、羽川、僕がどれほどのジェントルメンなのか。
Is this like some kind of Mansai setup?
ジェントルメンは複数形。まあ、それが本当なんだったら、私としては楽しみだよね。
楽しみって何が？
新学期になったら、私は荒木くんのジェントルなところを
んじゃダメ。そんな風に考えるのは心が逃げてる証拠だよ。
Eh? Why does...
すげえよ。お前はすごい。
Yeah, why does she
お前を前にしている
know what he's thinking of?
つまらない人間のように思えてくるよ。多分お前に会ってなかったら僕はもっと早く死んでたと思う。
だから死んじゃダメだって言ってるじゃない。私の話聞いてよ。
全部僕のせいなんだよ。僕の軽はずみな行動がこんな結果を生んじまった。僕はさ、あの時キスショットに血をやった時、こんなことになるなんてまるで思っていなかった。僕のせいで人が死んだ。
荒木くんのせいじゃないよ。それにハートアンダーブレードさんに
So does Hanakawa already know what's going on? Huh.
とても当たり前の
Why though?
私たちが牛さんや豚さんを食べるのと同じことなんだよね。
ああ、だからキスショットは悪くない。
I am.
僕が悪い。他には誰も悪くない。それにまさか思わなかったよ。ドラマ剣エピソードキロチンカッター、あの3人が人間側の正義だったなんて。
I mean... Oh shit.
僕は人間の敵になってしまった。
I know. I'm being kind of harsh on him. It's just...
人間に戻るのは
Not right.
諦めるの？
Yeah, why don't you just become human again?
人間を諦めたの？
Then you wouldn't have this problem, right?
現実に戻りたいってそう言ってたじゃない。
犠牲者が出てしまったんだ。今さら僕だけが望みを叶えるなんて、あまりにも虫が良すぎるよ。
虫がいいって言うなら今の荒木くんの方が虫が良くない？だって自分がしでかしたことを全部投げ出して逃げようとしている。
Yeah, tell him, Hanakawa.
体も逃げてる。
違うよ。逃げたいんじゃなくて責任を取りたいんだよ。この不死身の命を自ら絶つのが僕にとってのせめてもの罪滅ぼしだ。
罪に罪を重ねるだけだよ。
Yeah, you tell him, Hanakawa.
自殺は罪だよ。
羽川。羽川。
Why is she able to be out there in the sun?
今の僕は人間じゃない。吸血鬼だ。
うん
だから。僕はお前と違って弱い人間だから、今死なないときっとズルズルいっちまう。いずれ食欲に勝てなくなる。羽川、お前のこともいずれ僕には食べ物にしか見えなくなる。
だったら食べなよ。
何言ってんだお前。
相手のために死ねない。
Okay.
私はその人のことを友達とは呼ばない。だから言ったでしょ。本当の私を知ったら幻滅するって。
お前一体何なんだよ。
荒木くんの友達のつもりだけど。
それだけで普通ここまで関わってくるか。
I could ask the same of yourself, Aragi.
会ったばかりの僕のためにどうして そこまでできるんだよ。誰にでもそんなことしてたら体がいくつあっても足りないだろう。
誰にでもなんてしないけど、
Oh, hey.
荒木くんだから。
Isn't this the particular scene from her opening? There's a scene in her opening that had a similar concept as well.
荒木くん一人を助けるためだったら、体なんて一つあったら十分だよ。だから死んじゃダメ。死なないで。
完全復活した。キスショットアセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレードを止められる者はいない。僕の責任で復活したあいつは臆面もなく人を食い続けるだろう。カッターには無理だった。
Oshino probably could.
エピソードでも絶対に相手にならない。
Maybe.
強いて可能性を上げるとするならオシノだが、あいつは絶対にバランスを取る以上のことをしてくれない。あいつにとってキスショットの件はもう終わっていることなんだ。もう誰にもあの吸血鬼を止められないんだよ。
荒木くんにも。荒木くんには止められるんじゃないの？どころかもう荒木くんにしか止められないんじゃないの？唯一の眷属である荒木くんは逆に言えば唯一彼女を止められる存在なんじゃないの？
位置についてよーい。
Olympics? Okay. Wow, so that's why there was this many Japanese flags in the background.
僕がキスショットを退治する。
表情が変わったね。
大丈夫だ。僕はちゃんとあいつを退治する。
Hmm.
じゃあ私ももちろん協力する。私にできることがあるなら遠慮しないで言って。まあそうは言ってもあれ以上エッチなサービスなんて私には思いつかないけどね。
羽川、
何？
胸を触らせてはもらえないか。胸を。
いや聞こえたし。それはどうして必
So he can power up.
どうしても必要なことだ。お前は見ていないんだったな。完全体のキスショットアセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレード。どんな
This is actually reminding me of
要？でも12歳と17歳
High School D&D. The protagonist of that one.
っていうのも想像つかなくもないけれど。
おそらく想像以上だ。想像以上の胸を奴は持っている。
胸を。
あの胸に気を取られているうちに負けてしまうことが僕の不安だ。多分あの胸は戦闘中にすごく揺れる。だからその対策として女子の胸に
I mean, sure, man. Whatever you say.
思いのほかくだらない理由だよ。
一応理屈は通ってないか？
She's gonna give in.
いいでしょう。
いいの？
ちょっと待って。
What The hell is this? Whoa. Offering a direct touch? Alright. Holy shit, her body. Okay, unlatching her bra. This is gonna be like a whole scene. Right?
60秒以上は揉むべきだと思う。手加減無用。
あのさ、羽川。後ろを向いてもらっていいかな。顔を見ながらというのは厳しいんだけど。両手を上に上げて。
ラジオ体操ですか。
Whoosh! Ah man, the tension. The tension.
大丈夫。怒りません。
This is more nerve-wracking than when
絶対です。
Heart Under Blade was eating that dude.
なんだろう。万が一裁判になった時のために、荒木くん、どうか私のノーブラおっぱいをもみもみしてください。お願いします。と言っておいてくれるかな。
I feel like I'm watching a hentai right now. What kind of play is this? And this was in the movies. You guys can't remember. Sadistic?
荒木くんに
He's not gonna do it, is he?
そんな風には見えなかったけど、羽川って結構エッチなんだな。
はい、私はとてもエッチです。ごめんなさい。
別に謝る必要はないさ。羽川がたとえどんなにエッチでも、誰かが迷惑するわけじゃないんだから。
そうですね。
それで、エッチで真面目なインチオさんのおっぱいは、具体的にはどういう風にやらしいんだ？
大きさと柔らかさがこれ以上ないいやらしさだと自負しています。
そうか、そうだったのか。 の日のためだったんだ。今日という日を体験するためだけに荒木小弓という人間はこの世に生まれてきたんだ。っていうか友達の父を揉むとか普通に無理です。
See, I knew it. You're checking
や
out.
っぱこれはないって。
チキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキン。
誰かさんの優しさに甘えてしまいましたが、その身を張った行為のおかげで目が覚めました。
それで済むと思う？私が一体どれくらいの覚悟を決めてこんな風にここに座ってるんだと思う？
Yeah, you tell him.
僕ごとき存在にはまるで見当もつきませんが、ちなみにどれくらいの覚悟だったのか聞かせていただけますでしょうか。
正直胸を揉まれるくらいじゃ済まないんだろうなって思ってた。
All the way.
ああ、そっか、そうなんだ。私の初めてって学校の体育倉庫のマットの上になるんだなって。
I mean,
早すぎませんか。
まあ、ありかなって。
ありなんだ。
それなのに散々じらして恥ずかしめた挙句指一本触れさえもせず。
beat him up, beat him up. Ah.
荒木くん、そんなに私魅力ないかな？
代わりに肩を揉むというのではどうでしょうか。はい、肩です。羽川さんの。
Come on, Hanekawa, slap him around a bit.
ありがとうございました。
もういいの？
はい、続きはウェブで。
We continued.
で揉まれてたまりますか？
Is that like the offer literally telling us to go up, look up doujinshi of them? I mean, I'm sure there's tons already.
女の子にここまでさせた以上、まさか負けるってことはないよね？
There she comes. Heart Underblade. How did you get here all of a sudden?
そっちから来てくれるとは思わなかったぜ。
一度だけじゃ。重木よ。太陽の出ている間にウヌの気持ちは理解した。どうしてあれほど怒ったのか、その理由も理解した。元人間のウヌに対しあまりに配慮が足りなかったとも思う。じゃから一度だけ頭を下げてやる。
She's actually apologizing. Wow.
わしのもとに帰れ。
He really likes him.
共に生きよ。わしはウヌに命を助けられた。ウヌは変なやつじゃが、じゃからこそウヌとなら生きてもよいとわしは思っておる。わしと共に永劫の時を生きる気はないか。
断る。お前は人を食った。僕にとってはそれだけで十分だ。
それが分かっていたら、ウヌはわしを助けなかったのか。見殺しにしておったというのか。
Good question.
僕は何も分かっちゃいなかったんだ。いや、
The thought did cross your mind a little bit, if I remember.
最初から分かっちゃいたんだ。ただ、目をそらしていただけなんだ。
Yeah, while he was deliberating.
僕は思ったんだからな。それはつまり、お前が人を食うことを許容したってことだ。でも、そのせいで人が死ぬところまで僕は想像していなかった。僕の行為は美しくはあっても正しくはなかった。
うぬはそう言うと思っておった。うぬがそういうのを聞きたかった。これでわしから迷いは消えた。重木よ。
Wait, what?
最初からなんとなく分かっておったよ。うぬはそういうやつじゃろうと思っておった。うぬが優しいのは
Hypocrisy.
わしが弱っておる間だけじゃろうとな。そう、分かっておった。完全なる存在になったわしにはうぬは興味を持たんと、そう思っておったのじゃ。うぬはわしだから助けたのではない。弱っていれば誰でも助けたのじゃ。ほれ、もっと近う寄れ重木よ。うぬが直接にわしを殺せば、うぬは大好きな人間に戻れるのじゃぞ。
Right, is that how it works?
キスショット。僕もお前に最後に聞きたいことがある。
ほう、いいじゃろう。メイドの土産じゃ。何でも答えてやる。聞いてみよ
お前にとって人間ってなんだ？
Food.
僕もお前がそういうのを聞きたかった。死んでくれ、我が主人！
死ぬがよい、我が重木。
I mean, I expected no less. But he's not gonna die from that. But that's the same with her as well, right? Is this gonna turn into like a a slap fight or something? This is hilarious. Oh, someone's having fun, at least.
ところで一ついいことを教えてやろうか、重木よ。これでお別れとなるうぬが知っても仕方のないことじゃがの。
あ？
わしも実は元人間なんじゃよ。
I mean, they got
元人間。つまりはドラマ剣やうぬと同じじゃの。
修正じゃなかったのか？
人間だった頃のことはほとんど忘れてしもうたがの。それなりにいい。
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, pure-blooded would mean both are vampires. No, okay, okay, okay.
もう純正も眷属もあったものではないがの。 だけじゃ。
I wonder what Heart Underblade's trying to accomplish here. Ooh. Yeah, I don't get what she's... Holy shit. I mean, he still feels the pain, right? What is this?
昨夜ウヌと言い合って思い出したわ。そういえばわしも最初は人を食うことにためらいを覚えておったとな。
だったら
ウヌとて一人でも人を食えばそのような罪悪感は消えてなくなるのじゃぞ。
Once you do it once, you can't go back.
人間なんだよ。
そうか、わしは吸血鬼じゃ。
I wonder if she truly does have a way to kill him. I mean, even burning him, would that actually kill him? Ooh. Right.
誰かいいから隠れてろ。
違うの。さっきからすごく変なの。私たち多分まだ何かとても大事なことを見落として。
やかましいわ。余計なことを言うな。携帯色が。
ハートアンダーブレードさん、あなたひょっとして。
人間風情が出しゃばるな。
Ooh. Oh, that's a way to actually. What in the world? So that's how she reverted back to being a little girl?
どうやって僕を人間に戻すつもりだったんだ。
Ah, by drinking all her blood.
ハン
Right.
ターブレードさん、あなた最初から荒木くんに殺されるつもりだったんですか？荒木くんを人間に戻すために。たわけたことを言うなよ、携帯職。何の根拠が。じゃあどうやって荒木くんを人間に戻すつもりだったのか、それを教えてください。知れたことよ。わしにはそもそもこの重木を人間に戻す気がなかったというだけのことじゃ。わしの手足を集めさせるために嘘をついておったというだけのことよ。違います。欠けたパーツを集めさせたのは、たとえ不完全な状態で荒木くんに殺されたとしても、それじゃあ荒木くんは人間には戻れないからでしょ。完全体に戻ってから殺されないと意味がないから。あなたは死ぬつもりなんです。
I mean, but how did you infer this?
そんなことを言ってどうするつもりじゃ。そんなことを言ってこの重木にわしを殺すことができると思うのか。
なんでお前がどうしてそんなことを。
わしはの死に場所を探しておったのじゃ。死んでもいいと思っておった。そのはずじゃった。しかし最後に死ぬのが怖くなった。500年生きた自分が消えることが怖くなった。自分がいなくなってしまうことが怖くて怖くてどうしようもなくなった。
I mean, if
わしは生まれて初めて他人に助けられた。人間にも吸血鬼にも助けられたことなどなかったよ。そんなウヌの血を吸っているうちにわしは何をしておるのかと思った。じゃからわしはウヌのために死のうと。わしは奴のために死ねんかった。死んでやることができんかった。
oh, his first,
奴を人間
her
に
first
することができんかった。
Enzoku.
じゃからなんじゃウヌ、泣いておるのか。泣き虫じゃの。我が重木は情けない。
違う、これは涙じゃない。これは血だ。血が流れてるんだ。お前にだって血は流れてるだろう。
わしを殺す以外の選択肢は残ってはおらんのじゃからな。
She can't actually regenerate her blood now, right?
明日から一日1000人の人間を食おう。こう言えばウヌはわしを殺すしかなくなるじゃろう。脅しでない証拠に手始めにそこの携帯色を横取りしてやれば踏ん切りもつくか。助けた命は自分で積むがよい。それが責任とかいうやつなのじゃ。
Damn.
その名でわしを呼ぶ者もウヌで2人目じゃ。そして最後の一人となる。
He's looking to her to see if she has any other ideas.
さあ、わしを殺すがよい。10億。さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さ
Hmm.
どうせどっかで見ているんだろう。もったいつけてねえでさっさと出てこい。お前の言っていたことは全部わかった。もう何の説明も求めない。だから出てこい。自分が何をしたかもわかった。だから出てこい。おしのめめ。
And he's just gonna nonchalantly walk up. Something. Wide long face. Something good happen? Oh, I love his catchphrase.
なんとかって曖昧だね。金は払う。金の問題じゃない。じゃあ何の問題だ。
Need to be specific.
押し付けるなよ。やあ、委員長ちゃん。はじめましてだね。
はじめまして。
Yeah.
羽川です。
First time.
邪魔をするなよ。そういう約束じゃろう。
君と約束をした覚えはないよ。ハートアンダーブレード。僕はただいいように状況を整えたかっただけだ。君が荒木くんを人間に戻すために自らの死を選ぶというのなら、それが僕にとっては都合が良かったというだけさ。で、どうする？専門家たる僕への仕事の依頼だよね。料金は、そうだな。チャラにしてあげた500万円を引き継ぐってことにしよう。
5.
君の
10.
みんなが幸せになる方法を教えてほしい。誰も不幸にならずに済む、そんな方法を。あるわけないじゃん、そんなの。バカじゃないの。ただし、みんなが不幸になる方法なら
Make everyone miserable. That's
今回のことによって生じる不幸を分散して背負おうって話さ。誰の望みも叶わないけれど、それでもいいならそういう方法はある。具体的には、そうだね。荒木くんはギリギリのところまでハートアンダーブレードを殺す。吸血鬼としての特性とスキルをほとんど奪い取る。
she's almost dead. Aragi's almost human.
前以上に瀕死の状態になってもらう。影も形も元も子もなく
Even her name and age.
どれだけお腹が減っても人間は食べられない。そんな存在に。そして荒木くんもそれでは人間に戻れない。
Yeah, I was thinking in Bakemonogatari when I saw Shinobu, she definitely did not look happy at all. She looked miserable.
人間と言えないけれど、だけど吸血鬼からは限りなく遠い。そんな中途半端な存在になってもらう。お似合いだね。ただし、この始末だと、荒木くんはともかく、ハートアンダーブレードは栄養が足らずに餓死してしまうからね。ハートアンダーブレードを唯一生かし続けられる栄養素は、彼女をそんな過当な存在に落とした君の血肉だけだ。君は残り一生をハートアンダーブレードに捧げなければならないし、ハートアンダーブレードは残りの一生、ずっと君に寄り添わなくてはならない。
じゃあ、つまり私たち人間は。
そう、吸血鬼という危険な存在の退治を諦める。つまり、そういうリスクを残す。ハートアンダーブレードと荒木くんが吸血鬼に戻り、人を食べるかもしれないという危険度を決して無視できない程度に残す。
ふざけたことを抜かすな小僧。そんな状態になってまで生き延びたいなどとわしは思わん。わしは死ぬ。こやつのために死なせてくれ。殺せさっさと殺せ。わしは生きたいとは思っていない。
だから不幸になってもらうんだって。君の望みは叶わない。もっとも決めるのは荒木くんだけど。
注目。
The thing I don't understand if this. Okay, never mind. I'll talk about this later.
それでも僕はお前に生きてほしいと思うんだ。
頼む、お願いじゃ。どうかわしを殺してくれ。わしを殺してどうか人間に戻ってくれ。助けると思って。
ごめんな、キスショット。僕はお前を助けない。
What the hell? What kind of decision is this? Like. Hold on a second. Spring break is over.
傷残ったんだね。結局荒木くんの体にはどれくらいの吸血鬼性が残ったの？
まあ、治癒力がそれなりに上がってはいるようだな。歯を磨いても歯茎から血が出にくくなった気がする。
地味な。
そんなとこだ。ポジティブな見方をするなら、一応は人間に戻れはしたが、それなりに後遺症が残ったってところだな。
後遺症ね。
まあ、今の僕が人間だとしても、こうして太陽の下に出られるってだけで、随分と世界が変わった気がするよ。
前向きだね。
ああ、遅かったね荒木くん。待ちかねたよ。
本当にごめんな。
吸血鬼の人食いに剣を覚えたのは、言ってみれば可愛らしい猫ちゃんがネズミを食べているシーンを見て幻滅するのと同じだよ。そして君はいわばペットとして吸血鬼を飼うことを選んだんだ。牙を削って爪を抜いて
I'm with Oshino on this one.
ペット扱いされた君が主人をペット扱いし返した。そう考えるとさして美談でもないな。でもまあその時は僕が何とかしてあげるから、そんな自分に嫌気がさしたらいつでも言ってくれよ、荒木くん。
嫌になることなんてないよ。好きでやってることなんだから。
じゃあ好きにしたら。
Yeah, it's your life.
互いに傷つけ合った僕たちはその傷を舐め合う。
Ah, so here's the title drop. Kizumonogatari.
傷物になった僕たちは互いに互いを求め合う。お前が明日死ぬのなら僕の命は明日まででいい。お前が今日を生きてくれるなら僕もまた今日を生きていこう。そして傷物たちの物語が始まる。赤く濡れて黒く乾いた
Red with
血の物語。
black wind.
決して言えない僕たちの大事な傷の物語。僕はそれを誰にも語ることはない。
And woo! That sure was something. Alright, I think it's just the ending song now. So, I will see you guys after this. Alrighty, so you guys said that this is going to be a wild ride, and indeed it was, right? Like, woof, a lot of things kept you saying, like, WTF throughout the entire movie. But, like, I mean, it was interesting, right? It definitely was interesting. So let's talk through about some of the stuff here, right? Particularly if you guys were thinking that I would be shocked by the, by the eating humans scene or the gruesome fights or whatnot. Honestly, I wasn't that surprised, especially the eating humans and stuff. I thought that something like that would happen sooner or later. And that goes for the fights as well, right? Obviously, there is going to be a conflict, otherwise we wouldn't have Bakemonogatari, right? So, I mean, that was more or less fine with me. Now, definitely, it was. You guys saw my reaction. I basically laughed my head off during the eating scene as well as the fight, because it was just so ridiculous, right? And I do think that they also put in some of the humor in there as well, I guess, to maybe sort of wash away the goriness and bloodiness of the entire situation. So, throughout the entire time, you weren't really at a point where you felt, oh, this is too gory and whatnot. It never really made me uncomfortable, right? Even the scenes where it would seem to hurt very much, there were actually very few scenes where, I would be wincing in pain just thinking about it, right? I think the one scene that really left an impact on me would be the one where Heart Underblade was dragging Aragi's face throughout the entire wall, right? That one kind of got me. That one was like, that doesn't feel very nice, but whatever. The breast scene, that was probably the most WTF thing I've seen from the movie, and probably the entire Kizumonogatari series as well. I mean, I've already known since Bakemonogatari that this was definitely a series that was not afraid to put different kinds of sexual undertones within there, but that one really, I thought the snake one was already pretty, was already pretty over the top. This one even went beyond that, right? That was definitely a scene where if you have like a dirty talk fetish or something, you're probably getting very excited at that scene, right? Like I said, that felt like I was watching a hentai or something. And as for the ending conclusion, I wasn't too surprised. This is still a shonen after all. Well, I guess you can't really technically say it's a shonen, but I mean, with these kinds of works, there's never any actual action, right? So I wasn't surprised that he chickened out at the very end. Although I will say, one thing that I'll definitely give credit to that scene beyond, I mean, I'm a guy. I like these kind of things as well, so I'm not gonna complain too much about that. I have no qualms of sexual stuff within my anime. But one thing that I really will praise it for is the tension of the scene. I thought that was done that was very well done. In fact, I think there was more tension in that than any part throughout the three movies, and that includes the scenes where with Araki shouting and screaming his head off and whatnot, right? The tension of, is he gonna do it, is he not gonna do it, I feel like they really captured that very, very well. So that was a pretty good animation effort from Shaft. And really though, one thing that sticks out to me, especially after this entire Kizumonogatari series, like I remember some comments were talking about how people really rooted for Hanekawa to be the favorite girl or main girl or the main pairing over Senjugahara, right? And I can definitely see that here. With the entire Kizumonogatari series finished, my question is actually, how did she not end up with Araki in the end, right? Like, talk about being friend zone, and that's like the ultimate reverse friend zone here. But I guess in the end of the day, Araki just felt that she was too close. I think it's because, I think, going back to the dialogue in Bakemonogatari and what's happened here, I think it's because really Araki's putting her up on a pedestal because, how she basically was there all the time to save him from, from his own dark thoughts and so on and so forth, right? And so I guess in this sense, she's just too perfect for Araki, I guess, if that makes any sense. And so that's what, I guess it's a tragic tale of, you can't really be too good to someone else, or else it wouldn't really work in the end because they don't consider, Araki doesn't consider himself an equal with Hanekawa, right? Even though Hanekawa, at the end there, they are friends, right? I think that was established at the very end, but still, I mean, I can totally see why people would support this pairing more than Senjugahara's pairing, right? To me, I guess, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about this, and the reason why I don't really have an opinion one way or other is actually because of Araki, but I'll get to that later. As for Underblade, Heart Underblade, I think it's also pretty obvious that she didn't want to kill him. Thinking about it logically, she's a 300-year-old vampire, and also a very strong one at that. She's got to have tons and tons of knowledge related with vampires and so on and so forth. So she knows full well that engaging in that hand-to-hand combat with Araki wouldn't really do anything to him, right? And I would definitely think that she would know how to dispose of a fellow vampire, and she's choosing not to use any of those methods, right? So, I mean, I didn't buy that, I'm gonna kill you for even 1 second, right? I feel like that was pretty obvious that she didn't really want to kill him. And I guess her entire story is, when I say tragic, I mean, I get it, right? She's at the very end there, she found someone that she's willing to die for because Araki was willing to die for her. So she in turn, I mean, she doesn't really want to live anymore, but she doesn't want to die either. But now that she's found someone that she can give her life for, now she thinks that this is her her end of the story, right? She thinks this is a suitable death already. And I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to comprehend. I guess, I'm not a vampire. We're not vampires. But, actually getting bored and wanting to die. She mentioned already within a lot of the dialogue and whatnot that, vampires routinely commit suicide, kill themselves from 200 years because of boredom, right? And that, I don't know. That really doesn't make any sense to me, but I guess I am looking at it from a human perspective. Honestly, I would sign up to be a vampire just like that, right? If somebody asked me, hey, you want to be a vampire, you're afraid of the sun, but you get immortality, are you kidding me? Sign me up, right? So what if, the price to pay is I gotta eat a few humans or whatnot? Like, I mean, not to get into any moral discussions here, but at the point where, this is a world where things other than humans exist, right? Other intelligence than humans exist and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like I agree with Oshino at the very end there. It's more of a human egotism kind of thing. Uh, Vampires need to eat humans just like humans need to eat meat, right? So, I don't know. To me, I actually don't have any moral qualms at that. Because at that point, I'm not a human anymore, right? So, human morals don't apply to me, right? So, but anyways, where was I getting with that? The point is, I don't really understand her, her entire thing about wanting to die, not wanting to die, that so on and so forth. But at the very end there, I think she did make up her mind that she didn't really want to live. So if this was something that she's that can calm her fear of dying, and it's something that she's willing to die for, I guess that is a good overall conclusion, right? Except of course, Araragi does not let her die. Now, Araragi, right? I've said this before in the first movie, and I'll say it again. I really don't understand him, right? I can understand he's kind to a fault and whatnot, right? But the only thing that I can say is I just feel like he is, his brain, his head, it's wired differently. That's all I can say about it. He's just, in a sense, I could also say that he's inhuman, right? He's not really human because I can't really relate with how he's actually going through all of this stuff and coming to the conclusions that he has, coming to the actions that he has. I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm just saying that to me, it's incomprehensible, right? And there was this interesting thing also about, the hypocrisy type of the chapter was actually called hypocrisy, and that was what Hard Underblade was was berating Araragi of, right? And how your kindness will extend to anyone, but if that anyone actually turns into is not weak anymore, then your kindness stops, so on and so forth, right? She used the word hypocrisy, but if there's anything that I respect about Araragi at this point, it's that he's not a hypocrite. He's actually living out his principles to the fullest, right? Back in Bakemonogatari, when he was putting his life on the line and helping others and whatnot, I was like, yeah, sure, fine. He's more or less immortal, right? So, sure, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but at the end of the day, what's it gonna cost him, right? But however, time after time again, and I think this is already mentioned in Bakemonogatari, where Senjukahara said that Araki would be willing to risk his life even if he did not have those immortality powers for honestly no apparent reason, for someone that he doesn't even know, right? That's just how he is wired. It's completely incomprehensible to me, but that's how he's wired. And for the up to this point, I think he has stuck to his principles fairly consistently, right? I don't think there's anything I can fault him with where he's thinking, he's saying he's going to do one thing or talking about doing one thing but not actually doing it. So hypocrite that he is not. I can't understand him, but I do respect his him sticking to his principles there. But yeah, the entire point where I was making before that I don't really have a favorite pairing as of right now was because I can't really get a grasp on Araki either, and that's because I can't get a complete grasp of him. I don't really know who is perhaps most suited to be paired with him, right? I mean, Senjukahara is as good as any. I like her character as well. I like her type of aloofness, nonchalantness, that kind of stuff. So that's as good as any, right? And so yeah, that's Araki. And what else? Oh, Oshino Meme, right? As of this point, through Bakemonogatari and Kizumonogatari, I still have to say Oshino Meme remains my favorite character. Now, it's possible that this will change in the future, right? Especially since at the end of Bake, it seems that he's gone. I don't know when he will return, if he will return. But at this point in time, I still think that he is my favorite character because just of how, how straightforward and how real he is, right? I especially like, within the ending part of this movie, where he basically straight out said that this is the option where everybody will be miserable, right? Not sugarcoating it or anything. That's just that, right? And that is, that is true to an extent. The entire time when, not the entire time, when Araki actually asks, is there a way to make everybody happy? At that point, my thinking already jumped back to Bakemonogatari when we saw Shinobu, and I don't know about you guys, but to me, she definitely did not look happy while she was around in the various few scenes that we did see her in, right? So, I mean, him at the end saying that everybody would be miserable, like, I was just like, yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true, right? Even the part where he did call out Araki at the end, saying that he doesn't believe this is the correct decision to make, so on and so forth. I actually agree. Now, of course, that is at this moment, right? I mean, considering that they are the main characters and whatnot, and this is a story, and we've got to have good endings, and so on and so forth. There's probably going to be something that's going to make this all worth it in the end, right? With Shinobu actually surviving, maybe finding a purpose in life or whatnot, Aragi, and so on and so forth. So there's gonna be a way to make this all right in the end. But as of right now, to what I see, I definitely feel like this is a non-ideal situation, right? Out of all the options you could have chosen, I don't know, I wouldn't really agree with this one. And even if we just look at it from Shinobu's sake, right? And the interesting here is at the very end, Araki was basically saying, hey, if Shinobu, you want to kill me at any time, feel free to do so. I think what she needs to do is basically suck out all the blood from Araki, and then she'll regain her blood, and then she'll be back to her former self, right? I think that's how it's going to go if she really wanted to. However, we know that she's not going to do that, right? She views Araki as her savior. She's not going to want to kill him. Now, what about if Shinobu decides to kill herself, right? I mean, literally all she has to do is walk out into the sun and should be dead, right? I'm assuming that even now with her weakened powers, that's still something that she's able to do. Though I guess she's not going to do it because if she doesn't give her entire blood to Aragi, he's not going to be able to turn back into a human. Like, how does that work, right? If Shinobu actually killed herself or was killed by someone else, would Araki never be able to revert back to a human anymore? Somehow I feel like that's kind of a weird, after effect out of all this. But, I mean, I guess that's not exactly something that's the point of the story here, but it's just popped up into my mind as a pretty interesting thought experiment, if you will, right? Because, well, I don't know. Like I said, at this point in time, and also with Bake, I definitely don't think that Shinobu is very happy. But this could all turn in the end as well, right? And also one thing that I noticed was Meme basically said that this would strip Shinobu of all her powers and so on and so forth, right? Her vampiric powers. But we saw at the end of Bake that she still has some powers left to her, including melting in and out of shadows. So how does that exactly work? I don't know. I mean, we literally only saw that at the end of Bake, so I assume that's going to be picked up or explained later in the next series, right? Which would be Nisemonogatari. And so yeah, that's basically it. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, I get that Aragi's, it's basically like an unstoppable force meets an immobile like rock, right, or something of that nature, or a spear and a shield, something of that sort. Right, it's bound to have some kind of conflict here. And like I said, with Araki being the main character, I'm sure that this entire situation will resolve itself. But I'm just saying that if I was under the same situation, looking at all the circumstances and whatnot, I probably would not choose the same thing as Araki, right? And that is actually also contributing to me not really being able to comprehend Araki's actions. So that's why I kept on asking for these past few these movies and in Bake as well, that I really want to know like what made Araki this way, right? But since most of you said that that's only going to be explained later on in the series, I guess we can only just continue to soldier on. So there we go. That was a really long review, but I mean it is a long, 3 movies in a row. And I didn't even talk about the rest of the movies. I mean, yeah, the review's already too long. I don't want to get into that. I will say though that I really enjoyed these 3 movies, probably even a bit more than the original Bakemonogatari series. I don't know if that's really sacrilegious to say or whatnot, but I don't know. I just feel like the entire flow and pacing of these 3 movies got and they were better. They were better. And out of these 3, I think I would still prefer movie 2. I just feel like the pacing for that was perfect. And I guess it wasn't a case where it wasn't a case that was too cliche, right? So I feel like to me, out of these 3 movies, I still prefer number 2, right? And so yeah, that's basically it. I will be continuing this series with Nisei Monogatari, perhaps starting from next week. Currently I'm thinking of using the official Blu-ray subs. If there are any other fan subgroups that you guys feel would recommend that can capture the series a little bit better, feel free to recommend me them as well. Otherwise, I'll just be using the official subtitles. So yeah, that's basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next series. Avery out.